All right, hello, hello, hello. Let me know if you guys can hear me. Nah, shot, I haven't put it in yet. Mm, there you go. Sorry, I was on boy duty real quick. He's starting to smile back now, so it's kind of cool. Like you can like mess around with him and stuff, grab his legs and like make him run and stuff. And he like smiles. He loves it. All right, here we go. All right, so let's get started for Monday. I actually have a bunch of stuff to do today, but interesting. As soon as we finished up the stream this morning, the headline from Bloomberg came out that the EU is considering easing Omicron travel curbs on South Africa. Like, well, that was pretty quick. That was less than a week. It's kind of like it's funny. We mentioned last week that it's like, oh, is Omicron going to be like Lambda, where it was like for a couple days it was like, oh, there's this new variant in Texas, Lambda, and then it just like disappeared, like we never heard anything about it ever again, right? Where Omicron's the big deal right now. It's crashing everything. And like imagine like in a week it's like Omicron. What the heck is Omicron? No, nobody, nobody's doing Omicron. And it's like, okay. It just shows that like, the media loves anything to like you know, mess with the markets. Anyway, seeing a bit of retracement in the movement overnight. As you can see, euro dollar pretty much straight across in 24 hours. It's red. Pound is retracing back in the last hour and that's exactly what we're seeing with the euro pound as well as the pound yen. Pound yen was up 107, 109 just 30 minutes ago. So definitely starting to kind of, profit taking is definitely starting to set in. Oh, I got to see this Pepperstone. What is it? I was just talking about that 200 moving average. Like, okay. Um, so yeah, I mean, but a bunch of, again, 2 hours ago, Broadbent started speaking, running, just all kinds of stuff. I don't think there's a risk of 1970 style inflation. There's lags and trade offs. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Some decent stuff. In big news, China cut their interest rate, right? The reserve ratio and basically interest rate, which is kind of interesting that they're cutting it now. Um, I'm wondering if that's going to throw them up on like the flag for the manipulation. It's like, oh, the whole rest of the world's rising, and China's like, no, 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 we're cutting. We gotta reduce it. Economic stability. It's like, what? What? Aren't we well beyond that stage? And again, no, not that they wouldn't want to keep their currency low because it makes exports a big thing for them. Um, makes it cheap like Japan. Um, so yeah, of course they would want to, but that goes back to the whole issue about how it should be free floating and how theirs is not free floating. So also again, we'll see this one. They're gonna talk tomorrow, little Zoom session there, and see if they can tamper down the um, I don't know what you want to call it, the heightened relations, I guess. Kind of an interesting thing. I didn't really know much about the Nord 2 steam pipe or whatever it was, but it's interesting that for, I don't know, 4 years, I had to listen to, oh, Trump is just a puppet of Putin and they're buddies and yeah, 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 yeah. But yet there were sanctions supposed to be put against Russia. And Biden's like, no, 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 we shouldn't put sanctions on this NATO or this Nord 2 steam line. So like he's protecting Russia, which is odd, right? Because they're not supposed to be boys. But at the same time, Yugoslavia is about to get or the Ukraine is about to get invaded, and Putin's like, Biden's like, yeah, yeah, we'll talk about it. It's like, man, we just you know pushed for you not to have sanctions for some reason, but yet the other guy was the one that was supposed to be in bed with this guy. So I'm totally confused. What the heck is going on? So if anybody has any idea, go ahead and let me know. Why are we blocking sanctions against Russia as they are now going to the border and ready to go into the next country? I don't. I'm totally confused. Right? For years, it was all about Russia interfere with the election. Russia's bad. Russia's bad. Russia's bad. Russia's bad. And now we're like trying to block sanctions and letting them take over another country. But yet the other guy was the one. I don't know. I'm totally confused. So if you guys know what they're gonna say, please let me know. Because I have no idea. I'm like, I don't know. I feel like at this point, if they roll into the Ukraine, it's kind of like, the people of Ukraine would be like, "Yay, they're here!" Like, of course, right? You disappear if you disagree with Putin. So I don't know. sounds a little funky, because it will affect the euro, not just Russia. Um, yeah, but Germany and countries in the EU were the ones that were calling for the sanctions. They were the ones that wanted the sanctions. Um, they're very practiced perfectionists. Yeah, yeah. Uh, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Practice perfectionists. I don't know. Oh, oh, wait, not perfectionist, projectionists. Yeah, probably. Yeah, because I feel like, I mean, like now that all the truth has come out, that like that dossier thing was completely. I'm confused about the dossier thing too. Like, oh, Trump did all this bad stuff, but like now it's officially been proven that 100% it was fake, and the Democratic Party paid for it. But it's like, but then they're like, oh, but Trump was trying to spy on his allies. Like, what? What? Like his campaign headquarters got. I don't like. Yeah, I don't know. None of it makes sense. It's like we're living in two worlds, right? I swear we're living in two worlds. Like this is like Marvel all over again. Um, he's using the FBI legally. It's like, but you paid for a dossier that was 100% fake, and you yelled at him for trying to sway the election. But like, it's not like the FBI liked him, right? But yet that report was released, and you're like blamed that that's why Hillary lost. But it's like, what? But I mean, Trump didn't control it at that point, right? So I don't know. It none of it makes any sense. Like, I don't know. I feel like I need a tinfoil hat just so you can think about this the correct way, because it's like totally confusing. It's all over the place. But yeah, I saw the Nord 2 thing and I'm like, why the heck would Biden block sanctions? Like, if somebody wants to put sanctions against Russia, I feel like they probably, it's kind of the same thing. Like, if you're in court for like federal drug racketeering and distribution, I pretty much feel that it's like an open and shut case. Like, the government is not going to go through all that work, come up with a full case. You're pretty much guilty. I feel like if anybody's blaming Russia and wants to put sanctions, like when you mention sanctions, it's kind of a big deal, and that's not even about invading the country. So I don't know. This dude is just. I feel like he is just laughing it up. Be like, this is a joke. I don't know. I feel like when majority of population does not approve and thinks that it's a joke, that the president's a joke. What do other countries think? So I don't know. I felt like the other guy, while maybe not the most polished of politicians, right? Um, I felt like there was the deterrent factor. Like, this guy's crazy. Do we piss him off? He'll hit the button. He don't care, right? I feel like everybody knows Biden would never hit the button. So, yeah, crazy, crazy, crazy. Totally confused. So, yep. All right, so let's dive in. I was gonna say the most exciting thing was really what was going on with natural gas and oil. And again, I got natural gas on Friday, or I got propane on Friday, and then obviously it wanted the tank today. Although when I talked to the guy, it wouldn't have mattered. Actually, he's like, yeah, there's about a 2 to 3 week delay, and it's just like it's kind of similar to marine gas. If anybody has a boat, you guys know what I mean. But like basically, like it doesn't matter what the current price. So like gas stations will kind of change it around based off of like there's a little bit of a delay, but like if there's a spike, they spike it right away, right? Everybody spikes it at the same time, right? Marine gasoline and what he told me was propane's the same way. Basically, it doesn't matter what the prices are. When they got it from the distribution center, that's what they sell it for. So, like marine gas, sometimes prices will spike, but marine gas is really, really cheap because they're selling what's in their tanks. But then, vice versa, if price collapses very, very fast, you still have to pay the high price until it comes out. Where like gas stations will, gas stations like, oh no, 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 it all evens out because obviously marine gas you're only using at certain times of the year, and they don't want to store extra stuff in the tanks, and there's other issues with it, not keeping it on the water and stuff. So, yeah, but the natural gas guy's like, yeah, we kind of do the same thing. He's like, there's a little bit of a delay. Not that it's an issue with us holding it, but again, you don't want massive amounts of supply and stuff like that in our main tank. So he's like, yeah, there's a bit of a delay in it. So he's like, yeah, I could drop $10 next week, and our prices wouldn't change for it depends on when we do the order. So I was like, okay, I guess that makes me feel a little bit better. But I will say that it was like I think normally it's like mid 500s for us to refill the tank because we don't have like an enormous tank. I mean, it's and it was like instead of being like 520, it was like 720. So I mean, definitely more expensive, but considering how bad it could have been, I feel like that's not horrible. So um, I don't know. But yeah, I don't have a huge tank. Well, you're outside. How big of tanks do you got? Do you have like the real big ones? Like, I mean, yours are all above ground. I know that. But how big are the above ground ones you're using? Like this is like I think a 500 or 250, 250 gallon below. So a little different. All right, when you're waiting to answer that one, I'll bring across. Oh, bring us over to Aussie. So we had this crazy spike, and we talked about it. And we left it up there to kind of see how it would respect it. Again, this little crazy spike was the non-farm number, right? At 8:30 on Friday, and we took a spike, and then after really its initial push, it made one more attempt down, and then just kind of pulled right back up into that same area. So this is not a zone. We don't really need it now. I was trying to see if it would kind of act as a top, and it kind of did, but it had its one, two, three, and number four is what broke. So I don't really need it now because it didn't really give us a clear basing level. I would say right now what we probably need to focus on is again this lower level at 69.75, right? We didn't get down that far. There's probably a minor level sitting probably in here. Again, there's a little bit, again, maybe like a session open, but and the reason I'm putting on there is because it's for the Aussie. So, and then top side, the problem with the top side of this one is I'd love to mark off this level here at 70.61, but because price spiked all the way up, we almost got to go up and really kind of grab these upper levels. But the problem is this is a crappy candle too, and that's what it went off of. So it's kind of like we can mark a level here, but I mean, in reality, that didn't even hit it either. So unfortunately, this one is really not the cleanest right now. Um, had we not had this crazy kind of clearing wick above, this would have been a great candle. I mean, 3 hours of straight down. Love the movement, but unfortunately, we can't use this distal side of it. It's pretty crappy. So I don't know. I'm kind of hoping we get some decent levels and a little bit of a reversal to give us something later on tonight. Um, I feel like there's probably a good. I mean, I'm really excited about tonight's trade. I just finding a level in this one is a bit rough. So I mean, again, if we pull back during the day, I think that could be a good opportunity to take it long. I am looking more on the long side right now for tonight than I am short side. While nothing's expected to change, I do think that they will have probably some hawkish data in there, or some hawkish statements. I just feel like everybody else is in the stage now where they're raising it. My only hope, or my only kind of fear on this one, is that the expectation is not too great, right? That everybody's convinced that it's going to be super, super positive, and they're going to be like, "We're raising interest rates next time," and then when it doesn't happen, there's a big collapse. But I do feel getting long ahead of time is probably more prudent than short. But kind of looking for a nice little pullback area, and there's not a lot in here that I like, but like I said, there's a kind of a minor level sitting right down here at basically 70 flat. All right. Aussie yen. So Aussie yen, this was a level from last week, and we kind of pulled up and then pulled back again in base. So it's not really a long entry for our purposes. Um, there was a couple levels in here we left on because we liked how it bounced. So I'm going to go back in and I'm going to kind of adjust it a little bit. We're going to use this level here as a basing level, and we're going to kind of see what bounces off. Now, this one, once it kind of pushed through and dropped lower, this was like a European test. It wasn't. I mean, this was really what we were looking for last week on a pullback, so we don't need it right now, right? So let's pull this off. This was our target to the downside. Um, we're going to remove the target. Um, we're still going to keep that lower level. We are going to mark something here, though. Let's see. Hmm, that was from last week. We don't need it now. Hmm. Yeah, I guess we'll mark that one. Kind of the same idea. Kind of a front run, but it is a tested level. And again, it kind of coincides with what we had here, right? The base, boom, and then popped off of it. So let's see, where is that? Can we see it on the 30? Yeah, it's fine. I would say that this is kind of a level, kind of the same thinking as a potential pre-news based move at 79.11. And again, it's just slightly different. I mean, we're talking about like 15 pips difference between the two, but it is a tested level. So for something like news, could be a great way for us to kind of pop it higher, right? Um, top side's a little bit fuzzier. Like I said, I like the level around 79.91. I would say that I mean, we're looking for basing levels. It's kind of been tested. There's not unfortunately a lot clean above. Hmm. I'd really like to see some type of a top in here with a clean base. I like the movement here, but we know again this was non-farm popping this one down. Looking to the left, yeah, it was kind of a zone, but again, not necessarily the best. This zone, clean base, one top, kind of came back over tested, so I'd like that one, but it did push it to the brink. And again, this top piece here, this was an old level, kind of a Harry Potter where it based below and popped through, and then again, boom, boom, there's two hits lower. So that may be kind of where we draw the next real clean zone would be kind of there up top. And we're kind of sitting in the middle. So I think any of these are really decent, but I kind of want to see where we're going to be before news today. Um, I wish that this was a better top because I really I like the way that this reacted off of it, and it sustained the drop. It wasn't just a quick non-farm spike; it sustained the drop. So I'd like it. I just have a hard time finding a level of risk in there. So kind of two levels lower, and it needs to move 50 pips. It can absolutely move 50 pips in the next 12 hours. That's not really a ton. It absolutely could do that. Even just even just pre-positioning over the next 12 hours with the Aussie. So you know, kind of top and bottom. Like I said, as we get closer, then we can dive in and maybe look smaller and say, okay, listen, we're up in here and it's spacing. It hasn't pulled back yet, but let's take it. That could be an option for in here as well. All right. But I am looking to get long this, so I kind of want this one to kind of roll back down. And again, if it comes to this level here at 79.30, yeah, I could be talking to that. It has some decent basing and a nice little push. I like the level lower at 79. Ideally, um, although we typically take the farthest one, I do like the quick little spike on the 15 and the 71.11. So if it does pull back right beforehand, it could be a nice little, a nice little way to take something small. And again, you could probably take a short duration on this one because it's at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time too. There's probably going to be almost no volatility associated with it, so you may even be able to find like a small binary that it needs to move like 10 pips or something like that, like something ridiculous where it needs to move like barely anything to get a decent movement out of it. So probably some good opportunities for that tonight. Euro pound, we mentioned last week taking this one short. Again, we took the initial drop down, came back up, gave us a decent base at around 3, 4 o'clock, and close of the business. And then again, here was your gap over the weekend from there to here, right? Didn't really give us in essence, a true gap, right? Um, it's right there. So I mean, it's kind of it closed here and then kind of open right across. So not really a gap, but again, it was giving us a great short ability, and it did. We talked about Sunday night taking this one short, playing the retracement from what we saw at the end of last week, and again, it drove all the way down. I missed the target by a little bit, but again, looking back, that's where this is where the buyer stepped in. So that's where profit targets should have been taken right here, and you can see that it did go past that. So right now, again, we're seeing the euro kind of rebalance a bit. I would say it's still high on the curve. I would say still bearish. Again, we'll see kind of what's going to happen with, you know, the meeting tomorrow with Omicron. We'll see how the market takes it. I feel like if they lift the travel restrictions, um, curious to see how the market reacts to that one. Overall, I mean, let's see. I don't think we have. We are getting economic sentiments. So the movement up today. What I was looking for is tomorrow morning. So you can see that there's the economic sentiment, both German and overall euro. Both of them are expected to be much, much lower than they were previously. So it kind of already has that negative sentiment in there. With it rallying higher, I do feel that. hmm, it's quite a big move. I didn't expect it to be that much. I was expecting this to be like a little bit, like a 23 and a half, 24-ish, just slightly below. Um, hmm. I'd like to see what this does in the morning. I'd like to see what that does in the morning. But anyway, um, hmm. I almost want to take this more long, but I'm trying to figure out if we have the ability to push it all the way higher. Um, Let me check this out real quick. Mhm. Burn trade, federal employment, revised GDP. Oh, I wonder if we'll get a headline from this. Hmm. Yeah. So with that said, with the economic sentiment being lower and they're having these meetings tomorrow, That means we'll get some headlines, as well as we'll have German production, which is expected to be good, but maybe it might be too good. Um, Halifax is a little bit less. Yeah, I'd be looking for some short opportunity in this one. Kind of the same idea. Um, like I said, I don't know if we can get all the way up to this 85, 88, but I think if we can get, let's say there's a level probably sitting right in here that could provide some opportunity. And again, it came back, it tested, and then it kind of spiked down again. So I'm going to steal one of these. I don't need the lower one anymore. Touch, touch, touch. I probably should leave that, but we're going to remove it for now just to clean the chart a bit. Um, 85.46 is an area that I'd be looking for tomorrow morning. And again, I like that it's rolling up again. And again, this would be more of a news based short entry that you could get into ahead of time. And then downside, obviously, again, 84.50 is still the area that we're looking for a bounce. Decent bounce, test, and kind of took off. And that's been kind of the near term low. So, decent short from that level. So, overall, I'd say probably a little more to the downside, right? Euro yen. Euro yen, we talked yesterday or on Friday about how this one kind of had a top and bottom, and it really needed to clear one way or the other. You can see the euro pound obviously a little bit on the stronger side, euro yen a little bit on the weaker side, and it's tested. We talked about 127.53. You can see it touched, it came back up, and it grabbed the level, came back down, based again, and then came up a little bit higher. Um, at this point, I probably would not use this level for another long. If anything, I would be starting to transition into, are we going to start taking this one short, right? And the reason why is because, again, we hit it here. We got front run twice. We kind of base right above it, below, or right above it. Hit it again, came back, and then again, more sellers up top building. We put in, and then again started kind of really pushing down, and buyers stepped in. But then it came up, and now we're starting to, again, we put a lower high in. We're going to take another shot. So kind of looking at, and again, maybe we use this as our stabilization point. But at this point, I'm kind of almost looking that if we get a break at that level, we follow this one to the downside, particularly because, again, the euro pound is high. We already talked about looking for shorting opportunities, grabbing something to the downside, and that's a little bit far. That's a 3.2. But, looking for a break and then a continue push lower on European weakness. And again, they're talking about economic sentiment. Again, they're going to mention things like, maybe, Fauci's talking about Omicron's not a big deal based on preliminary data. But it put it this way, I think they would rather err on the side of caution than say, "Hey, listen, Omicron, no big deal," and the next week, holy crap, it's rough, right? So I don't think that's the case, but they will lose complete credibility if that's what happens. So I would say that there's probably going to be a bit more risk, and it's not going to change anything, but we're going to keep it there, and just more of that kind of negative bearishness about it. So again, this would be a break of let's see, 127.36, and we're moving down to about 126.88. So, we're talking about 40, about 40 pips. There's your target down below. Okay. Euro dollar. So again, euro dollar also not striving all the way up top. Also showing some weakness. Now this one's still stuck in the middle. We were hoping for the pop to go up to 113.80 and then take it short. We didn't get it. It just ended up dropping down and then just held. And then again, non-farm kind of kicked in and really just kind of scattered it back and forth. So I would say right now, top and bottom. Again, we got an aggressive short that still exists up here at 130 or 113.71, right? Um, we still have a target 112.35. Now, this one, it did halt it here, but I would kind of like it to hit and then bounce off of it, not just a simple hit and go. And then we have clean levels at 111. So, still some room to move. Like I said, this one, it's not really trending much, right? 0.17 in 24 hours, it's moved 13 pips. So not anything great for us. And even so, you can see that it's kind of consolidating in with levels. Decent zone right there. Let's change this to blue. And then kind of the same thing up top. They keep getting smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. But this would have been a level up top. You can see that it bounced off of there. Um, that one's kind of junk. And again, there's a little bit of a level here. There's where the gap is, right? There's the gap up, and there's your gap candle, and it kind of just is back and forth. So let's say this one's kind of running out of steam. um, hmm. This one is showing weakness, but I don't know. We'll see if we take a bounce. This was a decent rollover at European session. I'd kind of like to see this. and then European news is at 6 tomorrow, is right there. I kind of like to see something like that. If we can take a slow grind and then be up somewhere in this level, somewhere like in here, if we could be like somewhere in there for news tomorrow, I think that that would be a decent short. Or even a potential overnight. If we continue to see like dollar weakness today and then be up in that level, I think that would be a decent short to the downside. So I'd be cool with that. I'd be cool with that. Pound yen. Yeah. So pound yen, we never got the entry. We are looking for a long out of that one. It literally hit, held, and then rallied back and forth, and we just kept going, 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 going. So we weren't expecting to get a Harry Potter out of it, but you could have taken an explosion because once it hit, it pulled back down, it hit, and it was really eating up all those orders. And you can see it went up and it went past the profit target before rolling back to the downside. So again, at this point, we don't need this area of interest anymore. We don't need this area of interest anymore. I think the 148.75 is still decent. I think we're going to hold topside as well. We're going to change this one to a red. It's had such a hard time getting back there. We're going to use that. There we go, the 150.66. Hmm. I kind of like how I like the base here. I like that we got the ascending wicks and did spend a lot of time there. Hmm. Problem is that I have to mark that whole level off. Let me see on a 15 if there's a little bit cleaner of a draw. No. Nope. I was hoping there was. Let me see if there's a trap in here. Sort of. There is sort of a trap in there. Hmm. There is sort of a trap in there. Here's the trap. Right at the 61. Hmm. What time is that dated tomorrow? 2. Hmm. Do we want to mess with that one? That's a challenging one. And I guess it depends on how aggressive you really want to be about it. Like I said, we were looking for the break above. It pushed it to the brink and then just kind of ate up the rest of the orders in there. So again, you could have taken that one long. Now that it's retracing, I would expect it to bring it back down to the move. And it's really going to depend on if fib traders have this one drawn or not. You have your people that are like, oh, no, it's not the 50, but the 61, right? They're going to try to grab everything on the bottom. And that 61.8 is one that I wouldn't be surprised if they try to grab. It's a level. I mean, it's been a way too much time there. So it's not one of the ones. I mean, it's more setting it up for the trap. Anybody that plays the 50 using the 61 will get stopped out, but we have some more leeway. And in reality, we kind of have like, it's kind of down to there. So, I mean, really, either we could draw it kind of this way, right? We could draw it this way, just a little bit lower, and I would say it's kind of a trap, but we'd be playing we'd be the group setting the trap. So it's kind of more this 1 to 3 is there, right? So you can see it's not even a whole lot of movement to the top side. And again, if this is where the basin is and it falls in, it's really trying to take advantage of the people that are playing the 50% 61.8 as a stop loss. As they're getting stopped as it breaks through, it's right in our level, and we do have the ascending wick. So there's kind of a couple things involved with it, right? Kind of a couple things involved there to be able to take this one longer. But again, had you gotten along with that one, you obviously hit profit. It went across here as well as across there. Pound dollar, kind of the same thing. Look at it's basing right off the same level, right? Base, top, gap right up to it and came back down again. And then again, bottom, bottom, bottom. Number 4 is what broke through. So I do like this. I do like that level. Um, Problem with this one is there's been so much movement lately in this one. And again, the same crap top on this one. Let's see. I'm actually going to mark off that drop there. We're going to start going a little aggressive with that one. We're going to leave that there. We're going to leave that there. Remove that. Let's just pull these and set these up. Their top. Okay, we need a confirmation off of 131. Not enough room for that one. This one we don't need, even though it is basing on the other side. Let's remove. Whoops, not that one. Let's get rid of this. You guys can see it literally drew right up to where we wanted it to. I think we have enough in there. How much is that? 8, 25, 31. I want to remove it now, even though we've had it on both sides. I'm not gonna. I was thinking about trying to take it as like a Harry Potter. If we can get a little bit of a pullback, taking it low. Um, I don't like this one for a short either because we know we have sellers coming in here. Right, we know we got sellers, so we don't have enough room for a Harry Potter down. I'd like to see it base off that level. It could be a potential long, but like I said, it would have to be associated with some type of a news event. Maybe we get the retail sales number. Um, Maybe the retail sales number is what sets us one off, which I think the retail sales number will be good. If we can get a news hit here, then yeah, we may have the potential to take this long. This would be more of an overnight position more than anything else. All right. But right now, my extremes are up top 133.35. The 131.67, I need a confirmation off of it. It is a higher time frame level, but it is black. So it's going to be target first, and then we need confirmation to reestablish it. And then again, is there something small in here? Probably, but the trade was the weekend gap up, and then obviously the continuation through. This was well beyond a one, you know, this was well beyond a 1 to 3. In fact, this one was 1 to 6.5. 1 to 3 was only right there. So very, very easy. Again, opened up into an area of demand, came back up. A lot of people were like, oh my God, we're going to get stopped out. And then it was just like, just kidding. Right. Just kidding. And it was fine. All right. So yeah, let's see if we can get that dollar CAD. Last week we talked about dollar CAD getting short and did the same thing. Got short, same thing came through. There was other opportunities. The weekend finished. Let's see, right there, right. So right there, there was your weekend area, and again, there was your touch at about 10 p.m. last night, and there's the fall away. So same trade, nothing really to say on this one. Look for this one to come all the way back down to 127.19, especially with oil. Now that we're seeing the reversal, remember oil got blasted last week because of Omicron. Obviously, Omicron is not a big a deal this week. It should continue to roll back down again as CAD gets pressure. Again, any dollar weakness should accelerate this, and any dollar strength is going to have to battle any oil strength. So odds are stacked in our favor. If you're not already short, a little bit harder of a trade, but again, you should have been short from the weekend. And again, we mentioned this one being a great trade entry on Sunday night, and again, you can see it's rolled back, and it's been a pretty nice. What is it running? 60 pips so far and continuing to drive lower. And again, profit targets we know probably aren't going to be an issue until we get down here to 127.50. So, had you got this from Friday? Again, this is why we talk about the Sunday night targets. Great Sunday night trade to the downside. And again, all this is literally playing dollar weakness and then the retraceal of oil and then a little cash strength coming in. Dollar Swiss. Dollar Swiss is driving. So, here was our trade last week, right? And then we just started to pull away. Unfortunately, this is one of those entries that sucks. It hit at 230, right? Um, we talked about it. We had it marked off. I mean, it's a great level, right? the 91.67. Problem is, most of this has literally happened all Sunday, right? The market closed right here, right there. So we hit literally 30 minutes before the market closed. I'm not taking it over the weekend. I also mentioned that watch out for this one. Again, dollar Swiss could be very, very violent, especially if Russia decided to go into its neighbor. It has not done it yet. So again, we're not seeing the Swiss go nuts yet. But I think this one runs all the way back up. Look for a potential rollover at 92.63. But again, if you guys grab this one in the over, um, the it opened right there. So it bounced. It confirmed. Look, it hit with an hour to go, and then boom, closed right here, open, and just off to the races. So this is one of those trades. Do you want to take the risk over the weekend? It's up to you, right? Would it have made any difference this week had you taken over the weekend? Nope. It went exactly where we thought it was going to run back to. We knew that it could come all the way back up again, and it's on its way. Um, but again, could it have been a very, very risky weekend? Yep. Could have been. Could have been, but it turned out not to be. And again, could you have just closed the trade down at the end of the day and then reopened it? Yep. Absolutely. And again, would not have been much of a difference for you guys. So again, 65 pips. This is a pretty nice mover. And again, mostly because, one, I guess Omicron, but two, you're not really hearing much from Russia. Like I said, I think people were waiting for this one, and it almost kind of was like oil, right? Omicron shut everything down. It's like, oh, Russia's going to invade. Nope, nope, not yet. But I do think it is set for some type of we'll get a. I think we'll get a reversal. 92.63 would be the area I'd be looking for. It's the same one that we talked about over here. We've had it marked off for a while. Original zone, touch, reestablished. Hit it for non-farm, slammed it down. Right. I'm sorry, not non-farm. That was the 30th, and then again, no movement. Come back up, look for another fall. Okay. 92.63. And the yen. So this one we've had a couple drawings. Again, we did come up and pop. So let's remove some of these out. We talked about call spreads in there. Price profit target at 112.54 has been hit, so we don't need that anymore. There was our entry. Let's see. We're going to adjust this up just a little bit higher. We're going to talk about a level there. We're going to talk about, unfortunately, I'm going to actually bring this down a little bit. We're going to talk about this level as being a close proximity short, and that'll come in at 113.83. We're going to have another buying area down here. Bring that across. I don't need this now. I can remove that. All right. So this is kind of what I'm looking at right now. Yeah, I'm not answering that one. I love that. Here's a phone call from a number that you don't recognize that says it's potentially spam. Well, I'm absolutely not going to pick that one up then. No thanks. I love it. It tells me where it's from, but it doesn't tell me the number, but tells me it could be potentially spam. Oh, there we go. There's the number. Nope, have no idea who that person is. Yep, sorry, not answering that one. Um, all right, so I'm not worried about the Japanese data in here. All the US data is already factored in. Not necessarily worried about the Japanese data, but let's see. International trade, labor cost, trade balance. Hmm, tomorrow. Let me see. No. US non-farm. Love this. Non-farm productivity. Yeah. Big down. Big down. Labor cost, trade balance, consumer credit. That's gonna be later. Hmm. See where's the dollar at right now? Dollar's kind of sandwiched. It's not a bad short. I prefer the 113.83. That's a decent test. I like this test. This I would say is probably more A rated. This is a level, and yeah, it did base off of it. I could probably shrink it a little bit into that range right there. It's a level, and again, Friday the non-farm data it worked as a great level for a reversal. Midday though, I don't know if I would, if it's quite lined up. Farm reserves. All right, let me check. I don't want to do this, but I'm gonna have to do it. It is expected to be much better. And revision. Mm. I think 113.83 is where we wait. I think if you want to be hyper aggressive on it, sure we could take it. It's about 31 pips away, so I mean it would take a bit from today. It would be more of a later day scenario. It's not going to be a 10:30 reversal. Um, I think I like the zone up top much better. This one's all right. I mean, if it was news based, like if we had some big level of news right now and we were up there, then yeah, I think it would be decent. But as far as how far it pushed in, I do like the reaction out of it. Um, but again, we're already at two touches, and both of them pushed them pretty deep. And like I said, this is that non-farm push. So would I risk it for a news release? Yeah. For just a regular rollover, it's in pretty close proximity. I mean, we're only talking what 20 pips to a very decent, nice top base with two confirmations. I like the 113.83 better. So that's what I'd be looking for. Let's see. Let's go up to oil. So oil has kind of pulled itself back again, and I was actually looking for a short a little bit above the 68.89. Again, flat base confirmed here as well. Right now, it looks like we are having kind of an inside day with oil. Um, let's get this ready. We'll bring it the 1430 right there. This one comes across the 830. So I mean, right now, nothing exciting. You know, not really any news data that's going to drive this. No speeches. So I would say overall, I would probably expect this to grind up. I do think we can get up to the 68.90 today. I wouldn't be actually be surprised if we go a little bit higher, but it's not going to be fast movement. So we'll see if oil is able to start going crazy today. I don't think there's really anything today. Yeah, there's really nothing. We would have to hear, some major news. It would have to be. It's going to have to be a media headline, right? It's a media headline. So without any lack of news, I guess, I mean, I'll tell you right now, tomorrow, if the EU lifts the travel curves on South Africa, that should be a big boom to oil, right? Um, it almost sounds like it's manipulated, right? That OPEC Plus was like, Omicron's a bad thing. You're all going to die. Prices drop down. We're not going to increase supply. And then the next week, Omicron's gone. And then price jacks. And then they don't change any of the supply. So they can make price even higher. Almost sounds like a conspiracy, right? Um, yeah, I think it tests it. I think we may get some type of a bounce later on today, but I think again, if we can get some decent pullbacks to decent levels before the European session tomorrow, if they talk about lifting the travel ban, I think that jacks oil. I think we have some good opportunity to get back up into the probably the 72 range maybe for tomorrow. Testing levels here, which is what around 70-50. 70-60 mark, I think is kind of where we look for oil to run to. Okay, right in there. Natural gas, so down 11%. And like I said, I told you before, this is because I ended up buying propane on Friday. It's just continuing to fall at this point. Um, I'm not looking back at prior levels. I kind of want to see where a base is put in right now for any natural gas. It will find a bottom here and base and then start to kind of pull back from it again. I'd like to use the current base, not the old one, because again, this is where all the manipulation kind of started in this range. So kind of just waiting. And the funny thing is, we talked about 392 as being a level. It got past that, and look at that. It almost basically, I mean, it didn't quite touch, but I mean, it basically is your Harry Potter of a broken level, right? Gave us our lightning bolt of a broken level, but it ended up gapping past. So talk about crazy jumps on that one. Like I said, we ended there last week. We talked about that being an area, and then whew, and now right when all the snow's kicking in, it just. Pff. So this is what happens. The manipulation factor is out, and it is returning to normal. So, and like I said, I bought it. It was 279, right? Because propane is cheaper than natural gas. Um, but yeah, crazy stuff. So you won't hear me complain about natural gas anymore. But I do find it funny that I got filled on Friday and then Monday it's down 11%. But yeah, such is life. That's how it works. That's weird. Three, four, five, six. Huh. It's funny, the on the giveaway for today, on the contest, it says that there's 5 entrants, but only 3 of them are listed. Mhm. Kinda interesting. But yeah, I would say wait for the bottom and then look for a reversal natural gas. 11% is too much in one day. So tomorrow I wouldn't be surprised if this is green, but I would like to find a new level of basing and then use that for a confirmation the other direction. Look for some type of a bounce. Don't know where it's going to kick in, but wherever it does, you better find it. It's probably going to be more of an end of the day type scenario. It may be like we run down to a specific level and then like the market ends. And then when all the futures contracts return, flip and do their resting, whatever it is, it's like baking bread. It's like, oh, we got to rest. Then looking for a potential long. But I would say I'm thinking green tomorrow for natural gas. As I said, 11 is way too high. In fact, look, I'll check this out. Look, look how normal size, right? I mean, we're talking top to bottom. Like this is your right. This is like your normal, right? You can see over here, right? Normal, it's spread out a little bit, but mostly normal. And then we took this big drop, right? But it's still, I'm touching the top and the bottom. And as we go through, obviously it expands and then short, 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 short. Look how big this one is here, though. Like, this is what normal looks like. And then this is now the standard deviation on that gap. So is it a little bit out of whack? Yeah, just a little bit, right? Yeah. So this is your normal spread, right? And again, does it pop? Yeah, it does. I mean, this is what your kind of normal flat is. You can say, okay, well, wait, there's this one right here too, right? Yeah, right. And that kind of holds all this craziness here. It holds this craziness here. But even so, you can see it's almost double what that one is. So this is a much larger than normal move, and it's starting to snow everywhere. So yeah, I'd look for a reversal tomorrow probably. See if we can find a bottom. Look for it to come back up again. Um, I would say this old level is probably the fact that it took a bounce off of that. I would say look for price to come up. And again, if we're going to be looking for shorts, I would say the next level of shorts are probably back up in this. And again, I'll turn this. We'll turn this orange with black just so you guys, just to draw attention to it. But I would say probably 384. Again, whoops. Actually, it's not even that high. It would be this high. It would be that level. Decent base, and I like the response. Right. So it got front run. The old level. But I would be shocked if it's not green tomorrow. Right. Gold, not doing anything. We're still stuck around 780. We talked about 780 being a level. We saw it all here. It was not great. It hit, came through, based, and then literally rode the level. Popped up, rode back in, popped up, rode in, went below, rode back in, rode up. We're there again. So gold, absolutely zero trend right now. Not much we can do. Silver, kind of the same level, but again, 2228 is the area we talked about. You can say we hit it, 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 we drove through, popped up, popped down, came all the way back over to that 2260, and we're back down to the 2228 region again. 2228 to 2220. It is rallying up a little bit right now, but again, we're on the it's the 24th. This was how to take Wall Street down. I'm pretty sure Wall Street's going to survive at this point. I don't even know any scenarios at this point that would jack silver to jack silver to 100, especially with China dropping interest rates. Not necessarily the best sign for China. So, yeah, I would say, guys, really no trade in oil and gold. I'm sorry, not oil and gold, gold and silver. Yeah, all those Wall Street bets, people are like, yup. And actually, it's funny. I do believe, I think Jack actually had a post where he was mentioning $60 oil or $60 silver by the end of the year. I'll have to check that one back. I'm like, hey, what happened or what changed? Right? It's always cool to hear what changed. I may have to reach out to him and be like, "Hey, you said like 60 by the end of the year. What's where is it?" So we'll see. Let's go across to look at the dollar index is doing nothing. Yeah, this one's down. So, all right, let's drop these to the 15 minutes. Let's see what kind of trades we had. So, at the open, there's your 930 candle. I mentioned this in Nadex presentation, and I said, "Hey, listen, we got a nice little top over here. It was a European reversal." And if you guys know how to play these, even though the market is up, it does not mean that there are not short positions. And there is your one, two, three. Actually, it went all the way down to a 1 to 7. 1 to 7.7. So almost 1 to 8 on the initial candle. 1 to 3 is right there, right? Profit targets on this one. I mean, in reality, you would have wanted your profit targets down here, which would have been a 1 to 4, right? 1 to 4 is right there. So that's where your profit target should have been for this trade setup. And again, green on the day, but there was your initial setup off the open, right? Came back up, grabbed the 15-minute level, and bam, cranked it all the way down again. Almost all the way down to the second level, but again, it hit its first level. Talked about 45.50, and that's all it did. So again, great opening trade setup for that one. If you guys were able to, participate in that. Actually, 1 to 4 is actually this should be down. Trying to see if it was the full. 1 to 3.5. 1 to 4 would have been before the psychological level. Either way, you guys can see it blew right through. 1 to 7 is what that one went fully. Okay. So again, nice little setup off the open. Let's see if it was in the other two as well. NQ, oof, NQ would have been rough. Let's see here. 9:30 we closed high. Unfortunately, no, this would not have been an entry. There was nothing here to look into it. So it's nice that it drove up. Nothing. It would have needed to go just a little bit higher. Again, psychological level sitting right there. It didn't do it for the open though. So again, blew through. Ended up coming a little bit lower, but again, that would have been such a fast spike. Opening trade, you would have been unfortunately not able to grab much on Q today. So it's still high, but there would have been your traders money for the morning on Monday. So we'll see. Like I said, I mentioned earlier, I think that we can potentially get to 16,000 today. Again, we took an initial hit, but now we're starting to see a drive. And again, with lack of any other news, I don't see why this one can't go higher. I think this one comes back up and starts to test levels up top. Right. This is really the only hiccup. The 15,800 was really the only hiccup that we had on the way up. A little bit of a wick over wick here, but that's it. We got smooth sailing. So yeah, I want to see this one continue to grind. I don't know. Maybe if Biden and Putin come up with world peace tomorrow, they'll be good. The Dow. Ooh, Dow does not look like it gave us an entry. 9:30 opened here. Yeah, it really wasn't in a level. It pushed a little bit too high. I mean, maybe you would have tried a short, but I mean, you'd already hit it, pulled back, and then once they stabilized here at 8 o'clock, it was really a no. You're not going short into that level, so maybe you tried. I mean, we're kind of not in the level, so yeah, it's not really ideal. Right now, we're sitting that top level, so yeah, I mean, this is unfortunately one of those scenarios where listen, it's the opening trade on a Monday morning. It was a decent level, right? Kind of pocketed in here at that 35,000, but it ended up just going right through the top. Again, good for the Dow. Trying to go up. So we don't need it now. That didn't even well, it did a little bit of a pullback, but we're not gonna mark it. We're done with that one right now. Um yeah, so let's see if we can advance through. So this should be interesting now. So let's remove all these so we can not confuse people, right? I don't need that. I don't need this. This one went higher. All right. So I'm gonna mark off the gap. I'm gonna mark off that gap area because that's a potential area for tomorrow. Let's get that to there. We're gonna continue this one across. We're gonna mark off that. So let's see. Let's mark this one there. Let's mark this level as tested. Um, 10:30. Man, this one's trying to put some work in. It's 10:30, and it's like, oh, there is a level. Problem with this one is there's like three levels here. This is the initial push. This is the aggressive entry, but like there's the really here's the level, right? And then we got this hiccup right here as well. Go there. So there's our two entries. So look at it, it's like, oh, it's 10:30. Okay, we'll pull back. We'll do some profit taking. Um, not a short I'm willing to take. I mean, you could say that, yep, 10:30 reversal, let's take it, but not like I said. I'm kind of pro indices today, so it's not really something that I'm willing to take. Um, but again, purely based off of technicals, yeah, you're looking for a short right now. I would say I actually don't mind this level. I think this could be a decent level. This would be like our bad news level up top here, right? We get the correct reversal, the correct basing in there. That could be a decent roll spot. Decent roll spot. But yeah, unfortunately, no opening trade for this one, so not much you can do with it. But you know, look at the Nadex call spreads. All the call spreads were blown out to the top side. So every single one of them. This one does not. Unfortunately, this one did not really have the best of entries. Right. This would have been kind of we're not quite at a level, but we still want to take it. But it blew all the call spreads out of the water. The Russell. Let's see what we got here. Look at this opening Russell. 915. So Russell kind of had more of a long, I would say, than anything else. You can see that it opened above, kind of pushed down right at that 930 window. Now it did spike much lower and it actually filled the gap and then immediately shot itself higher. So we were kind of talking about this one coming a bit up. Like we were talking, if you were there for the Natics presentation, we talked about, 90, or I'm sorry, 2191. I was kind of hoping that we would get up there before the news. And again, we had the big crash like we talked about from there. It just didn't make it up as high as we wanted. So unfortunately, I think most of the shorts they all got used here. I mean, we're basing right now and it is 1030, but actually this should be here, right there. I must have been on a 30-minute when I drew that one originally. Um, Unfortunately, that was our short trade, and it went quite short. But yeah, so your short trade would have looked something along these lines, right there. Again, it should be there. We're not really worried about the stop out. There's your 1 to 3. Again, perfect placement, right below the target on this one, or right below, well beyond this one. You can see it blew all the way back down again. So there would have been two shorts today, right? One in the ES, one in the YM, or I'm sorry, one in the Russell. Um, so yeah, it would have been this trade from that level as well as this one. So two shorts. The YM never was not at a level, unfortunately, so nothing to really trade. And NQ, same thing. Looking to the left at the open, not really anything in here to trade. It is bouncing off of this psychological level up top, but again, rolling at 1030. But yeah, so only two out of four setups today, both successful. The other two that were not set up. YM obviously, yeah, YM went up, NQ went down, but neither at a level. So 2 for 4, 2 for 4. So let's see, TLT is little down a little bit again. Without the indices as ruined as they are today, not surprised. AMC is a little spiking a little bit. GME doing its thing. Dogecoin making a little bit of a pop, trying to come back this morning. Um, Bitcoin right at 48. Ethereum kind of trending lower. Let's see. Apple having a good morning. We already saw that in the overnight. Nice little pop. Tesla going down more. 986. He already closed down all his positions, unfortunately. Yeah. Yeah, so all like the new tax the rich things won't go until January. That way Mr. Pelosi doesn't have to pay because he's definitely out of his positions. He's not holding it. He's not going to mess with that one. He sold all that junk when it was at 1200. He's like, I'm getting out. Getting out. I know what's happening. I see the writing on the wall. It's only a matter of time before somebody writes that news article. So, and that's kind of it today. So, all right, let's go. We went 5 minutes late today. Not the end of the world. Let's go up here. Let's go ahead and do our drawing. So we only got 6 of you in today. We're missing somebody. See, look. So it says 6 entrants in, but there's only 4 people. Maybe. There we go. There we go. I was like, that was driving me nuts. All right, poor Mr. Pelosi. I know, right? Yeah, Mr. Pelosi. Yeah, I'm sure he had his $1 million bet, and like Nancy's like, oh, we need to tax it. I mean, isn't it funny how Nancy is not one of the vocal people in the tax the rich thing? Could you imagine their conversations at home? Right? Like, it's funny. She is not one of the big let's tax the rich people because again, she is quite rich and husband is a trader. So all the things that most Democrats say are evil, Nancy does. Nancy's there. Um, yeah. Somebody release Nancy. They need to release Nancy's tax returns. What do Nancy's tax returns look like? Right. That's what I want to see. Release Nancy's tax returns. And if it's just Nancy, then they need to release Mr. Pelosi's tax returns as well. Right. Because again, like I said, it's kind of insider trading, but you know how how what's it called? Um, you know, taxes are. It's like, head of household, you get this and this and this, and I feel like they're probably doing something funky, right? They're probably doing something funky, so they don't have to pay as much. So it's like a double head of household type scenario. But yeah. All right, that's it. I'm gonna close it down, and we will see who takes it for today. All right. Who won on Friday? Was it Eki? I think it was Eki. I don't know. I'll check it afterwards, but we'll check it before I give out any pip chips for today. All right. Winner of today's drawing is, look at that. Got that pretty close to an hour. All right. Winner of today's drawing is. I hit the button. Man, look at that. It says it in the stream, but yet it doesn't say it over here. Hmm. Hmm. Um. Well, Neuro technically no Ernest. I don't see Ernest on this list. Did Ernest join? I don't know. Did Ernest get snuck in there? I think Ernest is sleeping today. See? But it's hard. It's hard to win when you're not in the game. All right. So let me see. Let's go to leaderboard. That's fine. Oh, actually, you know what? I need to figure out who won. It was Neuro on Friday. All right. So Sean gets his 25. Where's Sean? And Sean sounded like I read the chat afterwards. Oh, why is it doing this? Oh, that's so funky. Hmm. All right, I'm gonna have to add him afterwards. I wonder if Stream Elements is having some issues. Yeah, Stream Elements is having some issues. When I say it's rigged against me. All right, I'll Sean, I'll add these as soon as I can get it to. It looks like it's kind of stuck. They must be doing an update. They must be updating it or something. Can I go leaderboard now? Sean, 25. There we go. There we go. Good, fixed. All right. Yeah, see? It's not stuck. I won. No, well, that's the thing, Ernest. It said I had to look in the stream box to see that Sean won because it didn't tell me. It was like lagged. I don't know. I don't know. I'm probably like downloading like a Microsoft patch or something like that. All right. Something's got to be downloading. Whenever it does that, it's like it's downloading. Who knows? Yeah, you have to do a restart. I did complain to Verizon the other day, though. So maybe Verizon is being angry at me or something. So. All right. So that's it, guys. You guys have a good trading day today. Don't forget, tomorrow is the NADEX session in the morning, and there's not the midday session. Tomorrow is the Education Summit, where we get to listen to Tom, see what Tom has to say. And then I'm doing a kind of a FOMO, missing out on the open trade. And again, I'll kind of explain it tomorrow. So pretty fun. It was a fun deck to put together. It's kind of it's amazing. Some products are really like dialed in. Like there is like some opportunities that are just awesome. So that it's kind of like you got to be right timing, but it's been pretty easy to time it. So, but we'll cover that tomorrow. Sean was laughing because he knows I won. I know, probably. Hey, be nice to Sean. He's got like 5 days worth of snow coming. So, yeah, we may not see Sean for the next week as he gets snowed in. He'll have his like wood burner stove and stuff. So, all right, I'm out of here. I'll catch you guys tomorrow. You guys take care. Have a good one, and I'll see you then.